The galaxy was full of sound. Ships talked to ships. Planets talked to stations. Civilizations talked all the time. And Earth was always the loudest. Human signals were everywhere. Music, news, trade calls, jokes, warnings, and arguments filled space. Humans talked even when no one asked them to. Other species found them noisy, emotional, and impossible to ignore. But that was normal. Until one day, Earth stopped. At first, no one noticed. A trader ship near the outer systems tried to contact Earth for routine clearance. There was no reply. The captain frowned but blamed a delay. Humans were often slow with paperwork. An hour passed. Then another ship tried. Still nothing. By the end of the day, hundreds of signals had been sent toward Earth. None came back. No radio waves. No military pings. No civilian chatter. Earth had gone silent. At a monitoring station near the galactic core, an alien analyst stared at his screen. The human signal line was flat. Completely flat. "That is not possible," he whispered. Earth never went quiet. Even during wars, humans kept talking. Even during disasters, they screamed into space for help. The analyst ran system checks. All equipment was working. He checked again. Still nothing. Slowly, fear crawled into his chest. He sent a report up the chain. Not urgent. Not yet. Just strange. But strange things in the galaxy rarely stayed small. By the second day, the silence could no longer be ignored. Human trade routes became empty. Human stations stopped responding. Human military channels showed no movement. Some thought Earth had been attacked. Others hoped it had. But no one had claimed responsibility. And that was the problem. If Earth had fallen, someone would be celebrating. No one was. The Galactic Council gathered in emergency mode for the first time in decades. Leaders of many species appeared as glowing shapes, armored bodies, or living light. The human seat was empty. That alone felt wrong. A council speaker addressed the room. "Has anyone made contact with Earth?" No one answered. Another voice spoke, calm but tense. "Our probes sent to the Sol system have not returned." That caused a stir. Probes were simple machines. Losing one was rare. Losing many was unheard of. A third council member leaned forward. Could the humans be hiding? The room went quiet. Hiding was not a human habit. Humans argued. Humans threatened. Humans negotiated loudly. They protested even when they were losing. But hiding? No. In the outer systems, an old alien historian opened sealed archives. Records that most believed were myths. He searched for one phrase. He found it. Written by an ancient race long gone. "If humanity ever goes completely silent, do not search for them. Do not call them. Do not follow them. Run." The historian swallowed hard. That warning was thousands of years old. But Earth had only joined the galaxy a few centuries ago. How could the ancients have known? On border worlds near human space, panic spread. Civilian ships fled towards safer systems. Military fleets pulled back instead of advancing. No one wanted to be near Earth when it decided to speak again. Because silence in the galaxy usually meant death. But human silence meant something else. No one knew what. And that was worse. A small scout fleet was sent anyway. Not toward Earth itself, but to the edge of the Sol system. They moved slowly, carefully. The stars were quiet. Too quiet. No human patrols. No satellites. No defense stations. The scouts reached the edge of the system and stopped. Their sensors detected something strange. Earth's space was clean. Too clean. As if something had swept through and removed everything unnecessary. Then the first scout ship vanished. No explosion. No signal. Just gone. The fleet commander ordered an immediate retreat. Only half the ships made it back. The rest disappeared without a sound. Across the galaxy, fear became certainty. Earth was not destroyed. Earth was active. And it was doing something no one could see. On distant worlds, elders told old stories again. Stories about the humans when they first arrived. How they smiled too much. How they helped too often. How they forgave enemies who did not deserve it. Many thought humans were weak. But some remembered something important. Humans only became quiet when they were focused. When they were thinking. When they were preparing. A single message appeared on ancient monitoring devices that no one remembered building. Not a broadcast. Not a signal. Just a presence. A deep, heavy silence that felt like pressure on the mind. Those who felt it understood without words. Humanity had stopped asking. Humanity had stopped warning. Whatever came next would not need permission. The Galactic Council tried one last time. They sent a message toward Earth, using every channel at once. "Humanity, please respond." The message echoed into nothing. No answer came back. Only silence. Cold. Total. Absolute. And in that silence, the galaxy finally understood. Earth had not gone quiet because it was afraid. Earth had gone quiet because it had decided something. Something final. And soon, the galaxy would hear the answer. Fear spread faster than any ship. Across the galaxy, the silence from Earth became the only topic that mattered. Trade stopped. Travel slowed. Even old wars were paused. No one wanted to fight while humanity was quiet. Because quiet humans were never harmless. On the capital world of the Galactic Council, emergency lights burned day and night. Leaders slept in their chambers or not at all. Messages arrived every minute. Reports of missing ships, failed scans, and strange energy readings near human space. Still, Earth said nothing. The council speaker stood again before the gathered races. "This silence cannot continue," he said. "If humanity plans war, we must know." A tall reptilian commander answered coldly. "If humanity plans war, we are already too late." That truth settled heavily over the room. Military fleets were ordered to defensive positions. Border systems raised shields that had not been used in centuries. Weapon platforms warmed up, but no one fired. Firing first against humans was a mistake history remembered well. Human wars were strange. They lost battles but won conflicts. They suffered damage and learned from it. Every attack against them only made the next response worse. And now there was no response at all. That was the most frightening thing. On a distant world made of ice and stone, an ancient species known as the Karuan gathered their elders. They were one of the oldest races still alive. They remembered humans before humans were powerful. Before human fleets filled space. Before human technology rivaled the ancients. The eldest Karuan spoke slowly. "When humans arrived," he said, "they asked many questions." Others nodded. They wanted to learn. They wanted to trade. They wanted friends. The elder lowered his head. But when they stopped asking questions, their enemies disappeared. Silence filled the chamber. Near the edge of known space, a research station picked up something strange. It was not a signal. Not energy. Not matter. It was an absence. A section of space where normal laws felt weak. The scientists tried to explain it. They failed. Then the station went dark. No explosion. No warning. Just gone. Panic reached civilian worlds. Families packed ships and fled without plans. Refugee lanes filled with traffic. Religious groups declared the end of time. Others blamed the council. Some blamed humans themselves. A rumor spread. Earth was building something. No one knew what. That made it worse. The council tried diplomacy again. They sent apologies. They offered resources. They promised reforms. Nothing came back. Then something happened for the first time since the silence began. A human probe appeared. It did not transmit. It did not respond. It simply floated near a major trade world. Watching. The planet's defenses locked onto it. Weapons charged. The probe did nothing. Hours passed. Then slowly the probe turned and left. The message was clear. Humanity was observing and judging. Military leaders demanded action. "We cannot wait," one shouted. "If humans strike first, we will not survive." Another replied quietly. "If we strike first, we will not survive either." That was the problem. There was no correct move. Deep in the archives of a forgotten moon, an intelligence officer found a hidden file marked classified, Puri Contact DRA. It described humanity before they joined the galaxy. Before alliances. Before trade. Before rules. The report ended with a single line. "Humans are most dangerous when united by fear." The officer closed the file with shaking hands. The entire galaxy was afraid. What did that make humanity? Near the Sol system, automated defense satellites suddenly powered on. Not old ones. New ones. Advanced. Unknown. They did not attack passing ships. They did not chase. They simply activated and waited. The galaxy watched them appear one by one. Like teeth. On the council floor, a young diplomat finally asked the question no one wanted to say aloud. What if Earth is not preparing to fight us? All eyes turned. What if Earth has already decided? No one answered. Because deep down they all felt it. This was not preparation. This was execution. A single phrase began circulating through military channels, whispered between officers and analysts. The quiet phase. No one knew where it came from. But everyone understood what it meant. Humanity had entered a phase where words were no longer needed. Only results. As the galaxy held its breath, one final report arrived. A long-range sensor detected massive movement, not from Earth. From everywhere humans had once been. Hidden bases, mobile stations, dark space facilities. Humanity was not in one place. It was everywhere. The silence was not emptiness. It was coordination. Perfect. Terrifying. The council speaker closed the session early. There will be no vote, he said softly. There is nothing to decide. The galaxy had already made its mistake long ago. Now it could only wait. Wait for humanity to speak again. Or for the silence to finish its work. Far from the eyes of the galaxy, Earth was not silent. It was focused. Deep beneath the planet's surface, cities of steel and light worked without pause. No music played. No public broadcasts ran. Every screen showed only data, numbers, and timelines. Humanity had not vanished. It had turned inward. For the first time in its history, every nation, every colony, and every human fleet acted as one body. There were no arguments. No politics. No delays. Silence made unity possible. Years earlier, humans had learned the truth. The galaxy feared them but also planned against them. Hidden councils, secret weapons, and slow pressure were meant to control Earth before it became too strong. Humans had seen it coming. They had argued at first. Then they agreed on one thing. Talking was no longer enough. The decision was not made by one leader. It was made by millions. A vote without speeches. A choice without shouting. When the final count ended, the plan activated. Project Quiet Sky. All signals off. All visible fleets withdrawn. All public human presence erased. The galaxy would hear nothing. And that silence would hide everything. Under Earth's oceans, massive structures awakened. Old shipyards, once declared obsolete, came alive with new purpose. Human engineers worked in near darkness. They built ships that did not glow. Engines that did not burn. Weapons that did not explode. These machines were not meant to scare. They were meant to end things cleanly. On Mars, long-abandoned bases opened again. But they looked different now. Smaller. Smarter. Invisible to normal scans. Human scientists had learned something important. The galaxy watched light. It watched energy. It watched noise. So humans built tools that used none of those. Far beyond the Sol system, hidden human stations drifted in deep space. They had been placed there slowly over decades, disguised as debris or dead satellites. Now they activated. Each station controlled a section of space. Not defended it. Controlled it. Back on Earth, the leaders did not celebrate. They did not smile. They watched screens showing alien borders, military movements, and fear spreading like fire. One officer spoke quietly. They are panicking. A woman beside him nodded. That means they are predictable. The most dangerous part of the plan was not the weapons. It was patience. Humans waited. They let the galaxy fill the silence with fear, rumors, and mistakes. Every reaction was recorded. Every fleet movement was mapped. Humanity learned more in silence than it ever had through words. Some humans struggled. They wanted to speak, to warn, to explain. But they remembered history. No one listened when humans spoke loudly. So this time they would listen to the results. The first test happened far from Earth. A hidden human unit targeted a military supply world known for anti-human actions. No attack fleet arrived. No warning was given. The world simply stopped. Its power grids failed. Its shields shut down. Its orbitals drifted uselessly. Within minutes, human systems had full control. No one died. But everything belonged to humanity. The test was successful. Human commanders shared one message across the network. The galaxy will not fall from chaos. It will fall from order. They were not here to destroy randomly. They were here to remove threats permanently. Back in the Galactic Council, confusion grew. Scouts reported worlds going dark without damage. Military stockpiles vanished from sensors. Entire fleets lost command access to their own weapons. Someone whispered the truth. They are not attacking us. They are taking us apart. Humanity had studied every species. Their fears, their pride, their habits. Where bombs would cause resistance, control caused surrender. This was not war. It was correction. On Earth, a final system came online. The Silence Net. It connected every human-controlled zone. No messages traveled through normal space. Everything moved through secured, closed channels. The galaxy could not listen, could not interrupt, could not escape. A young technician stared at the screen. "Will they forgive us?" he asked. An older officer answered calmly. "That depends on what they do next." For the first time since the silence began, a human message was prepared. Not a broadcast. Not a threat. A statement. It would be released when the galaxy had learned enough fear, enough respect, enough quiet. Until then, humanity remained unseen, unheard, unstoppable. And the galaxy was finally beginning to understand. Earth had not gone silent because it was weak. Earth had gone silent because it was ready. The galaxy was already afraid. But fear was still a feeling. What came next turned fear into certainty. The Krell Empire had always hated humans. They mocked them when they were new. They pushed their borders closer to human space. They spoke loudly about removing the human problem one day. Now the Krell watched the silence with nervous eyes. Their fleets were strong. Their weapons were powerful. Their pride was absolute. They believed silence meant weakness. They were wrong. Without warning, every Krell military sensor failed at the same time. Screens went blank. Command lines froze. Backup systems never activated. Officers shouted orders, but ships no longer listened. Across dozens of systems, Krell fleets drifted helplessly. Then the stars changed. Not exploded. Changed. A section of space near the Krell capital began to thin. Light bent strangely. Distance felt wrong. Scientists screamed warnings they did not understand. And then the capital system vanished. No flash. No shockwave. No debris. One moment it existed. The next moment it did not. As if reality itself had erased it. Across the galaxy, alarms screamed. Sensors showed a hole where a powerful empire had been. Not destroyed. Removed. The Krell Empire was gone. Panic became chaos. The Galactic Council reconvened in terror. Members shouted over each other, demanding answers. One military analyst spoke with a shaking voice. This was not a weapon strike. Then what was it? Someone screamed. The analyst swallowed. It was a correction of space itself. Silence followed. Everyone understood what that meant. There was no defense against that. Humanity said nothing. And that silence now felt louder than any threat. Refugee ships flooded nearby systems. Krell civilians who had survived on outer worlds begged for protection. No one knew what to tell them. No one knew if they would be next. On Earth, the reaction was quiet. Human commanders watched the data confirm success. One world erased. One message sent. No celebration followed. A woman in command spoke softly. This was mercy. Some looked at her in shock. She continued. We could have erased more. The first erasure was not meant to punish. It was meant to teach. Hidden human units moved again. Not to attack. To position. The galaxy watched helplessly as more regions of space fell under invisible human control. Supply lines failed. Weapons shut down. Governments lost authority overnight. Humanity did not replace rulers. It made them irrelevant. On dozens of worlds, leaders knelt before empty skies and prayed. Not to gods. To humans. A secret council of elder species gathered in deep space. They were ancient, cautious, and wise. They remembered something the younger races did not. Humans had once begged to belong. They had once asked for fairness. They had once tried peace. This was what came after patience ended. One elder spoke slowly. We must speak to them. Another answered bitterly. They are done listening. But silence does not mean they will not hear, the elder replied. For the first time since Earth went quiet, a message appeared. Not on public channels. Not on military lines. Only on ancient devices built to detect changes in reality itself. The message was simple. This was a demonstration. Nothing more. Nothing less. The galaxy froze. If this was only a demonstration, what was coming next? On worlds once hostile to humans, riots broke out. Governments collapsed as citizens demanded surrender. On worlds that had supported humanity, relief mixed with fear. Had they chosen the right side? Or would there even be sides left? A young alien child asked her parent a simple question. Why didn't the humans warn them? The parent had no answer. Because warnings had already been given. Many times. Long ago. Humanity observed everything. Every plea. Every betrayal. Every act of courage. They were not angry. They were calm. And that was the most frightening thing of all. A second target was prepared. But it would not be erased. Not yet. The next step would be different. More personal. More terrifying. As the galaxy trembled, one truth became clear to all. Earth's silence was not the absence of sound. It was the sound of control. And now that control had been proven, the galaxy would never be the same again. After the first erasure, the galaxy broke. Not with fire. Not with explosions. With fear. Worlds that once stood proud now trembled. Empires that had ruled for thousands of years collapsed in weeks. No one trusted strength anymore. Strength had failed. Silence ruled the stars. Messages flooded space. Apologies came first. Old insults were erased from records. Anti-human speeches were deleted. Statues celebrating victories over humans were pulled down in shame. Then came surrender. Entire civilizations offered their fleets, their resources, their secrets. Please, they begged into the dark. We did not know. But humanity did not answer. On the Galactic Council world, the Great Chamber was half empty. Some species had fled. Others had gone into hiding. Those who remained looked older, smaller, and tired. The council speaker's voice shook. We must speak to humanity directly, he said, before more worlds are erased. A military leader answered quietly. They are already listening. Everyone knew it was true. On dozens of planets, something new appeared in the sky. Human markers. Not ships. Not weapons. Simple shapes of light that hovered silently. They did nothing. But everyone understood. Humans were watching. Some worlds panicked and fired at the markers. Those worlds lost power within minutes. No deaths. No explosions. Just darkness. Governments fell overnight. Others learned faster. They shut down their weapons. They opened their archives. They waited. On a small world near human space, an alien governor knelt alone in a public square. Cameras broadcast the moment across the galaxy. We were wrong, he said. We feared humans because we did not understand them. His voice broke. We asked for judgment. The broadcast ended. The marker above his world dimmed and stayed. They were spared. Humanity was not seeking revenge. They were sorting. On Earth, quiet meetings continued. Commanders watched surrender requests pile up faster than they could be reviewed. One officer asked the question many feared. How many will we erase? A senior commander replied calmly. As few as possible. Another added, but as many as necessary. The galaxy slowly learned the rules. Aggression meant removal. Cooperation meant survival. Lies meant silence, forever. No human spoke these rules aloud. They did not need to. Some species tried to hide. They shut down systems. They buried fleets. They went silent themselves. It did not work. Human systems found them anyway. Silence did not hide guilt. A powerful religious empire attempted one final act of defiance. They declared humanity an enemy of existence and launched a holy fleet. The fleet vanished between stars. Not erased. Redirected. It reappeared above its own capital world, empty, powerless, and drifting. The message was clear. Even your weapons belong to us now. Fear turned into understanding. Understanding turned into obedience. At last, after long weeks of begging, a single human message appeared across all known space. Not loud. Not threatening. Just words. This will stop when the galaxy stops trying to hurt us. Nothing more. Nothing less. Some cried in relief. Others cried in shame. But everyone listened. Worlds once hostile to humanity now rewrote their laws. Anti-human policies vanished. Schools taught new history. Children learned a simple truth. Humans were not monsters. They were consequences. A young alien asked her teacher, "Why didn't humans just destroy us all?" The teacher answered honestly, "Because humans do not enjoy endings. They prefer lessons." Human observers watched cultures change in real time. Hatred faded. Fear remained. Respect grew. It was enough. For now. One final request reached Earth. It came from the oldest surviving species in the galaxy. A single sentence. "We acknowledge your authority. What do you want from us?" The answer took time. When it came, it surprised everyone. Peace. And silence when you are wrong. The galaxy understood at last. Humans had never wanted to rule. They wanted to be left alone. They wanted safety. They wanted the galaxy to stop pushing. The begging slowly ended. Not because humanity answered every plea, but because no one dared to ask anymore. The galaxy had learned its place. Not below humanity, but beside it. Quietly. Carefully. And in the long silence that followed, one thing became clear to all who still lived. The worst mistake the galaxy ever made was thinking human silence meant weakness. Because when humans stopped speaking, they started deciding. The galaxy did not end. That surprised everyone. After the begging stopped and the silence settled, the stars remained where they were. Worlds still turned. Civilizations still lived. But everything was different. Years passed. Trade slowly returned, but with new rules. Borders remained, but they were respected. Fleets still existed, but they stayed far from human space. No one tested the silence again. Humanity did not build an empire. There were no human governors on alien worlds. No flags planted. No speeches declaring victory. Instead, there were lines in space no one crossed. Everyone knew where they were. On Earth, life returned to normal. Children played. Cities glowed again. Music returned to the airwaves. Human signals slowly came back. Not loud, not proud, just present. The galaxy noticed. And relaxed. A little. Human observers remained everywhere, unseen and quiet. Not guards. Not rulers. Witnesses. Their job was simple. If the galaxy stayed peaceful, humanity stayed silent. If it did not, everyone remembered what silence meant. The Galactic Council was rebuilt, smaller and humbler. The new chamber had no throne seats. No symbols of dominance. The human seat existed again. It was empty most of the time. But it was never removed. An old historian from a surviving race began writing a new record of galactic history. He named the chapter, The Quiet War. Not because of battles, but because of restraint. He wrote, humanity could have erased us all. They proved that truth clearly. But they chose not to. That choice changed the galaxy more than destruction ever could. Some species still feared humans. That fear never fully faded. But fear became caution. And caution became peace. A generation later, young aliens asked questions their parents never dared to ask. Are humans gods? Are they watching us now? Will they ever go silent again? The answers were never simple. But one truth was shared everywhere. Do not force humanity to decide again. On a distant world once erased from maps, explorers found something strange. A scar in space. Empty. Still. Untouched by time. They marked it carefully. No one tried to study it too closely. Some things were better remembered than understood. Back on Earth, an old commander walked through a quiet park. He watched children laugh under open skies. A young officer walked beside him. Do you think we did the right thing? She asked. The old man thought for a long time. We did what we had to, he said. That is not always the same as right. Humanity never spoke publicly about the first erasure. There were no books, no medals, no monuments. Silence covered it. Just as silence had protected them before. Far away, an ancient species sent one final message to Earth. Thank you. Not for power. Not for mercy. But for restraint. Humanity replied with a single line. Learn from it. The galaxy did. Slowly. Carefully. Centuries later, peace became normal. New species joined the stars and learned the history early. They learned about wars, alliances, mistakes. And they learned about the day Earth fell silent. Teachers spoke softly when they reached that part. Because silence was not just a moment. It was a lesson. Humanity remained part of the galaxy but never fully inside it. They helped when asked. They traded fairly. They defended themselves without apology. They did not warn twice. And so the stars stayed bright. Not because there was no danger, but because everyone remembered the cost of forcing humanity to choose. The galaxy had learned many lessons over its long history. But the most important one was simple. When humans are loud, they are patient. When humans argue, they are still hopeful. But when humans go silent, the universe holds its breath. And that is how the galaxy survived. Not through strength, not through unity, but through respect for the quiet power of humanity.